Hello guys and welcome back to free 3D tutorials. It's been a lot of time since my last video or tutorial because now it was the last year of the school and you have to push harder and study harder, all this bullshit. However, today we are going to talk about the textures. What are the textures, how we use them, why we use them, how to generate them, all this thing, basically everything about the textures, okay? So first of all, let me show you an example of it before we get into it, okay? If you take a look at this picture over here, you will see that this is a low poly model and there's four types of textures being applied to it. One of them is the diffuse map, and the diffuse map is the color, okay? While the specular and the gloss, they organize the reflection of the metal and the gold as you see over here and over here. All this made by specular maps and gloss maps. The last thing is the normal map. The normal map is used to get the whole effects or details from the high poly model and give it to the low poly model, okay? So that means that when we create an object, at the first time we create a high detailed, high poly object, and then we keep it somewhere. Let's just say we save it somewhere and get another copy of it. And in this copy, we start reducing and getting rid of unneeded polygons, vertices, lines, everything gonna slow down our PC, okay? And after that, we get the normal map texture we generated from the high poly and give it to the low poly. I know you didn't get it because I didn't get it, but you will see the process during the tutorial and I think you will get it there. So let's take a look at the other, and this one is a build. I can't say it's a build, however this is diffuse map, the specular map, and the gloss map, and the noise map. Yeah, it's probably a build. Um, this image explains a lot, okay? When we bake the textures from the hyperpolar object or the hyperpolar model or a high detailed model, however, we bake two kinds of textures. One of them is the color map and the other one is the normal map. From the color map, we make the other textures, which is the specular map and the gloss map. In fact, that the color map is the same as the diffuse map, okay? So, and this one is another, example for it. This is just a cube and all the four kind of textures being applied to it, as you see, makes a lot of difference. So that's it. Oh. Guys, before we get deeper into this tutorial, just excuse me for my weird accent because I'm almost talking like a super Russian agent. In fact, that's because I'm a Russian and I'm not proud of it. Why am I telling this? Because I know there's a lot of losers out there who love laughing on another one accent. The main reason of making the tutorial is to give you the knowledge that I have, okay? And gain some dollars as well. But it doesn't matter right now, so let's get into our tutorial. So my plan is to give you a full vision of texturing and all the stuff in a small short video, okay? Now when you download a free object or when you buy one, you will see that there's a strange image which is the textures, um, and once you open it you will see a warped faces and all the ugly stuff, which doesn't explain nothing, okay? And I think or I guarantee that when you finish this tutorial you will get it, okay? So let's just start. Now let's start by going to the command panel and creating a box. Click, drag, and create. Now to maximize the screen, click on Alt and W. See? Now right click on your object and convert it to an editable poly. This one allows you to start modeling or editing your object. However, in the selection you'll see 5 types of random selections: vertex, edge, border, polygon, element. Okay? If you take a look at the polygon, and once you click on one of the sides, you'll see it become red and you can start editing it. Let's say if we select the move tool by clicking on it or clicking on W. Press on W and you'll select the move tool. As you see, we can move it, make it, and to undo what you did you have to click on Ctrl and Z, okay? That if in case you have made something wrong with your object. Now, as well, there's a rotate tool which you can click on E, and the last tool of the scale, press on R on your keyboard. So take your time over here. You should experience all these things, as well as the vertex, the same thing with it, like a polygon. Now it doesn't matter. However, let's just select the polygon, or excuse me, the edge. Now select those edges over here, all the four of them, and from the loops, click on connect, and then on the short triangle over here, and connect settings. Now the small screen will appear over here. So let's say increase 2 instance as well. So it would be symmetry, okay? Now we can do this thing by um, selecting polygon and clicking on edit and clicking on swift tool. It's the same, but I'm afraid that I can make it, um, you know, symmetry here. But let's make it with this one, okay? With just a box. So one hand, one hand. In fact, this one is easier as well. It's quicker. Now select those polygons, and to select multiple polygon, just hold on Ctrl and select the other ones, okay? So now you can go over here on the polygons, or you can right click and select extrude. So let's just select from over here and drag it this way. Now let's say we have made our model. It's just a stupid box which have no details. Now next thing is that we apply a modifier called the turbo smooth. So click over here on the modifier list, and from this drop down menu you have to select turbo smooth. There it is. Now as you see, there's a small problem, that because our object looks so horrible, and that's because we didn't add loops on our edges. Okay, so get back to editable poly and select swift loop and start adding loops on the edges. Now once we get back to our modifier, which is the turbo smooth mode, you'll see that it almost fixes it up and it looks better than before, okay? Except there's some issues over here. Let's just fix them quickly and swiftly. Yep, that's it. Get back to turbo smooth mode and you'll see that it is fixed. Always make sure that you checked everything, okay? Don't go on until you know um, until you make sure that there's no any issues. Okay, one last thing, let's just change this color. I really hate it. Go to material editor and select this material. Yeah, looks better. Now we are almost done. The most important part is to make the hyperpoly object, in my point of view. Okay, so now we need to make another object which looks exactly like this one, but without all those unnecessary edges and all this vertices and all this polygons that gonna let's say make our PC lag. So first of all, let's just save this project as a, let's say, high poly box. Save as, click on high poly box. Now we need to make the other object, it have to be a low poly. So we can just get to command panel and create another one and keep shaping it until it gets exactly like this one, or we can get the high poly that's already created and decrease and get rid of all those unneeded or unnecessary vertices and edges and polygons. Okay, the second method is always used. Okay, so basically we are going to decrease everything unnecessary. Now select your object. Okay, so we are going to disable the turbo smooth modifier by clicking over on the small button over here, and then get back to editable poly, and from selection select edge. Also make sure that you have selected your select tool, because sometimes we move our selection however towards a vertex or polygon or edge without noticing that we have did it or we have moved. The same thing with the other tools, which is the move, rotate, scale, all of them. Now let's get rid of those loops that we have added near the edges of our object, and all or every unnecessary edge or loop or vertex. And I mean with unnecessary, I mean every edge or vertex that won't affect on our object's shape once we delete it. Okay. Now to select multiple edges, hold Control and select any edge you want. Let's say this one as this one. And once you selected them, just click on Loop. You can click on Grow as well, but it doesn't work with the edges. And the most time it works with the polygons. Let's say you want to select all those polygons, just click on Grow, Shrink, Shrink. Now back to your edge mode, and select those three edges and click on Loop. And as you see, it will select the whole loop. And now to delete them, just click on Control and Backspace. And the same thing with all the edges. Also make sure always to check your selected edge, because sometimes you may select um, you know the edge from the behind. Let's say you want to select this one. See, let's say you want to select this one and just click over here and you'll select the edge that's over here, and you may delete it even, so it's gonna ruin your whole object. always make sure. And just to get rid of this quickly, just hold on Alt and then just drag it and release it. Yeah, by that, just if you wanna disable your selected edge or your polygon, just hold on Alt. Okay, let's say we selected those edges by clicking on Control and the mouse, and you want to disable or deselect this one over here, just hold on Alt and click on it again. Another advice, if you want to make the object for your video game development, let's say you want to use it for a video game, not this one, but in the future if you have made something like that that could gone out. However, always make sure that there's no n-gons on your object. I mean by n-gons, those polygons that have more than four heads or four vertices. Let's say such a thing like a circle. A circle has one polygon which have a lot of vertices. I also have forgot to mention this thing over here which is called the ignore back facing, and what it does once you check it, let's say select a polygon mode. If you want to select this polygon over here, just drag like that. You're not going to select from the back side of the cube or the box. Let's see the difference. See, this is without the ignore back facing, and this and this one while it's on. So it basically helps when you're modeling your object to avoid any issues or mistakes. Now as you see, we have almost done creating our low poly object, except there's one last thing which is called the smoothing groups, and what it does just gives your object a smoother look, and it also helps a lot when you bake your textures, especially the normals map. Okay, so let's select polygon from the selection and drag down. Let's say if you selected all those polygons, let's see, those are called the smoothing groups. Okay, so let's say if we select all those polygons and we put them on one smoothing group, as see, the results are not good for this box, but if you get a higher detailed model, let's say a human being or a robot or guns, knives, it basically works with them. But for this object, I don't think that we will need this thing. So let's just disable them, or let's say auto smooth. Basically, when the object is created, it automatically put on the smoothing groups on its own. But sometimes when we have issues, let's say if we have created a cylinder, and if you extrude this part over here or this polygon, you'll see once you deselect it that there's unsmoothed polygons, which looks very ugly on our object. And once we bake our textures, it will look uglier than this one. So we get a bad results for it. Now to smooth this, we just have to select all of those polygons and put them on one smoothing group, which comes with those smooth groups. Okay, so let's select one of them, and you'll see all of them is put on number 4, except this one is put on number 1 and this one on number 1. So basically everything which looks like each other, you have to put it on one smooth group. So select all of them and put them all on one smooth group, which is number 4. As you see, it has been smoothed. But what's gonna happen when we select all of them and put them in one smoothing group? This is the result. So basically it's not the highest quality, but it works at least. Okay, so let's get rid of this one and get back over here. Now let's start baking our textures. Select your low poly object, delete the turbo smooth modifier, and from the modifier list, drag down until you find something called the unwrap UVW. Now drag down, well first of all select the polygon mode, and then drag down until you find open UV editor. Once you click on it, the screen will pump up, okay? Now click on mapping, and then flatten mapping, and click on OK. Now as you see, our object has been breaking down to a lot of pieces, which we have to connect them together, and well, that's how we get our texture. So let's say get those faces. Now once you select your polygon from over here, let's say if you select this face or this one, you'll see that it shows those um, blue lines, which is the end and the beginning of the edge. Let's say this is the end of the edge, which is this one, which starts here, and this one starts here. I think you almost get it right. Okay, so what we're going to do is just select this one. Let's say we select this polygon over here, and this one, also this one. Oh, so something. Oh, they're together. Okay. Now let me find out a way to connect them all together. I think that's impossible. But wait a second. Um, let's just connect those polygons together and leave those alone. Okay? So all those gonna be on their own. They're not going to be connected. We'll just drag them away from our view. Now let's start connecting those faces. So for easier control, just click on select by element. Once you select one of them, to select all the face. Now let's drag them. This one's for them. Need this one. So we need both of those two. It's the same, they just have been rotated. You can also get that shape. See? That's kind of hard. Now select edge and then select those edges, and all we need to do is just click on stitch. See? Easily. And if you get lost somewhere, just click on Z until you get back to your place. The same thing over here, select those edges and click on stitch and then select both of them, or let's say just select this one, stitch. So it's like just playing a puzzle game, so just things like that. You also got your tools over here: rotate, scale, freedom mode, freeform mode. So those are going to be on the top. Let's say select the edge mode. Um, those can be let's see, this is the other part. Now just select. So as you see, if you got lost, as I told you, just click on Z and you'll get back to this. So what I'm doing is just let me show you better. Um, if you selected this polygon over here, you'll see that this polygon is the second part of it. So it should be such a thing like this one. And this one, which is connected to this polygon over here, but it's rotated on the other side. And this one, where it is? So this one is the last polygon. So once we connect them together, it just gives a better result. Stitch. Oh, we have left one edge over here. It's almost a loop. I didn't notice it. But it's fine. If you got such a thing like that, you just have to, let's say, close the screen, right click on your modifier, and then click on collapse to or collapse all. Now get back to editable poly mode, select edge, and just select it. Loop. Now put on your unwrap modifier back, and click on open UV editor, and as you see, I think the error will be gone. Let's keep- the reason why he does this, this thing, that's because this is the edge where it starts and this one where it ends. So it just tries to connect them together, but it ruins our textures. So we don't have to connect them. Now the next step is to get all those polygons and put them on this small box over here, in an organized view. Okay, so our texture will be only this box, and all this will be unvisual. I mean, when it renders this box only. So all we need to do is just select all of our objects, polygons, and put them back in the small box. You'll see that this one doesn't fit in. You can scale it down. So we're going to select those polygons and scale them down. So they will fit inside over here. The worst thing is that we don't have much place, and we have to put everything on the small box. Now to rotate this for 90 degrees, just you can also quick transform from over here. Now let's say if someone has selected this polygon over here and make it bigger than all other polygons. And the final result will be that this polygon will appear better than the other polygons. And the reason is because the texture is something like the image that you apply it on your created object, and it gives it the final results. So let's say if you have a small details on your texture, they will appear like a thick pixels on your texture. Okay, that gives them a worse quality than the other parts. So we have to learn to to balance between those things. Let's say you want to create a handgun, um, and as we all know in the FPS games, the backside of the gun is always, we always see the backside of the gun. So you have to make sure the backside have a better quality than the front side, which is the barrel and the nails, all this unneeded stuff. So to do that, you have to make the backside polygons better than or bigger than the front side polygons. And this knowledge, you have to acquire this knowledge to be a better artist, to model better models, and all this stuff. So let's get it back to normal size. Well, now we can close this one. Now select the unwrap modifier and just click on collapse to. Now let's add a modifier called projection to our selected object. Go to your modifier list and drag down to see something called projection. And also import your highpoly object, and that's by going over here and clicking on import, then merge, and selecting your 3D Max file, which is the highpoly box. This one asks you to change the material name, but it doesn't matter. Now also make sure that they are in the same location. Okay, so to do that, just select your move tool and make sure the coordinates x, y, z are the same. Let's say 0, 0, 0. This one the same, 0, 0, 0. As you see, they are in the same location. So now drag down until you see this whiteboard and click on pick list, and from the pick list select your box, which is the highpoly box. It will be easier if you just hold them, highpoly box, low poly box. Now next thing is just check the cage and then shade it point to point and increase the amount of the brush until it will take the whole highpoly object. Now we have to add a skylight. Go over create and then select lights, switch from photometric to standard, and you'll see that there's skylight. Also go to its parameters and you'll see that once you click over here that the color is lightly blue, so you have to make it full white. Next we have to go to render setup, then render, click on filter and switch it to cut maroon. Also enable global this one, and slay, increase the quality to 1, and the last thing is advanced lighting, just switch it to light tracer. So we are done here. Now close all these things, select your low poly object and click on 0 from your keyboard. You'll see that this screen will appear. All you need to do is just drag down and increase the pending to 4. Also enable the projection and click on options and make sure that the ray check is enabled. This one will show your issues on your texture. If you got some issues, you have to fix it by increasing the cage amount of the cage, but I hope that we have no errors in our texture. So drag down to see this one. Also enable or switch on use existing channel, because we have just baked channels to our low poly object. Now once you reach the output, you'll see this button called add. Click on it and then select the complete map, which is the color. Also click on normals map. One last thing is just apply a white material to all your objects. So go to material editor, apply this material on them, and then switch it to white, full white, with no specular, with nothing. Okay. So you'll see that we have a small size over here. We're gonna let it for now because we are going to test our textures, and if there's any red color on our texture, that means that we have some issues. We have to fix them. If we have issues in our texture, we have to go to the cage and somehow increase it or decrease it. If we don't have, we have to continue rendering our textures by in a bigger size. So we'll just keep it on 200 and go on render. Unfortunately, there's no errors or issues in this texture. um, I wanted to show you how to fix them, but in case if you had any of those errors, all you have to do is just increase the cage or decrease it somehow. You're on your own on this thing, but I hope you don't have any issues as well. Now we have to increase the size. We'll just select the largest thing. You also can put your own size by increasing from over here, but it's not recommended. Now let's save those textures somewhere. First we'll click on complete map and then look over here and select your location. Let's say on desktop, create a new folder. Let's call box. Also make sure that the format that you will select is a TGA. You see it's called Tarja image or something like that, but in the file in the end there's TGA, VDA, ICB, VST. Okay, um, call it whatever you want. Let's call it the color map. Color map. Now the normals map. Click on the normals map and do the same thing on the same location. Select the format TGA. Let's call it normals map. The same thing. Now the last step is just click on render. Guys, I had a small problem during this tutorial. Somehow my project they shut it down and I should remake all those textures and all the blocks and all the things. But don't worry about it, all the sizes are the same, only the textures have few changes which you may notice. Just don't panic with it, okay? Almost the same. Okay, I have baked both of those textures, which is the color map, the complete map, and the normals map. So however, just close this one and remove the skyweb. Get everything back to default. Select your highpoly object. Now we can delete it. Let's use this for now, or let's keep it for now. Just I want to show you the changes. So select your low poly object and collapse the projection modifier to your low poly. Next, go to your render setup and get everything back to normal. This one area. Um, yep, that's it. Now let's get our textures and apply to this object. We want to see the difference between this one, which is the high poly, and this one, which is the low poly. So to do that, just select your object and click on M from your keyboard, or press on M from your keyboard, or click on Material Editor. Now once it opens, just select the material, or let's get into another material. Let's select this one. Now click on Maps and then click on Diffuse Color. Select Bitmap and select the texture that you have made. Wait a second. I'm not sure. Now I will get back and then click on bump, increase it to 100, bitmap, and select your normal map. Okay, so that's it. Now let's just apply this material to this object over here, which is the low poly. You can just drag it and drop like that, or you can say also assign material to selection and just select the object. Now, as you see, we can't see the whole details. That's because we have to click on this small button over here. So one last thing, just click on the material and then go to material and click on show material and view correct as hardware display with maps. Wait a second, what the hell is this? There must be something wrong with it. I didn't expect such bad results. Um, let's just try it again. Material standard. Um, this one looks like a bump. Ah, wait, look over here. You'll see the bump is on 100 and well, there's a small mistake over here. Just we can fix it. Right click on the bump and then click on clear. Okay. Now click on it once more and select the normal bump. And from over here you can select the normal bump. So click on normal and click on bitmap and once again select your normal map. Now get back to default. You can go over here or you can also click twice. Now increase the bump to 100. Okay. So that's it. But just compare the results. Okay. So right now it looks the same almost. If you take a look at it, you will see that they are almost the same, right? But the fact is that this is a high poly with all those vertices and the polygons and all this, you know, all these things that are gonna slow down our PC. While this one is simple, very clear, and the same look. Okay. So that's it, everything for today. I hope I was helpful at least. Um, we have made a box, baked the textures, applied them, and we compared them. They look awesome. I mean, not bad. In the next tutorial, I hope I see you, but we are going to use or work on Photoshop. We're going to make the other two textures, which is the specular and the gloss map, on Photoshop, and then we're going to also color this object, which is the box. And I'm planning to make those outside parts of the box from the metal and the inside polygons from the wood. Okay, so I hope I see you in the next tutorial. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more tutorials. Okay, goodbye.